Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're gonna try today. One of the things that this guy's owners were saying is that nails, they have, they don't have a lot of success, or I'm not sure what, how he reacts, and then they don't do it, or I don't really know what's going on there. But they were saying that that's something that they would like to work to make it easy for them to do. So here I'm just doing my ritual. I'm just grabbing. I'm just trying to get him used to. He's starting to get mouthy, and I don't know if you see it. Look how mouthy he's starting to get. And I'm assuming that's what they're talking about. That once you start doing this, that he gets mouthy. I think that's the part that they don't like, because they probably are nervous about when he puts his big mouth. Look, my whole hand is in his mouth. There we go. That's better. So right now what I'm doing is I'm just grabbing, touching, and I'm letting him explore with his mouth. But I'm also gauging how strong, when he puts his mouth, how bad it is. So here, so when I do this, I don't tend to go like this. I'm just grabbing like this, like a little. It's not really rough, but it's not like super gentle. I'm just grabbing, and then if you notice, I can do this. So I actually do not want excitement around here. So I will stop those two, because this is not the right time to practice excitement. They can hang around and be curious about what's going on, but yeah, they're pretty big. All right, so I don't want excitement. I want him to relate to me with, but not with excitement. So here, so he's putting some tension in there. So right before, see this, he is serious about this, though he doesn't like it. So see that, he's serious enough, but so here is where you have to be careful if you have a reactive dog, because if you're nervous around them or afraid, if you have any fears, then you probably should do the same thing that I'm doing, but with help. You can use a slip lid, or you can use the slip lid and put protection in your hands, like some gloves, some working gloves, so in case the dog gets a little snappy. I don't know how bad this guy is, but so what I want from him is just to relax. He's holding a lot of tension right there. So what he wants and what he needs right now is for him to trust me in what I'm doing. So I'm just holding his head this way with this arm, because I don't want him to use his mouth. And here with this hand, I'm just getting him used to my touch. Remember, if I'm able to do this, then he's gonna trust me. And anything that I do, and then he end up trusting me 100%, then I'm going to do a lot more progress than if I just finish this without him trusting me. Now, this is a golden retriever, but you have to remember that at the end of the day, these golden retrievers are dogs, and dogs, what do best is react. So if he doesn't feel comfortable, if you're tiptoeing about around an animal, they're gonna do what they do best. They're gonna react. So even that, again, if you have a golden retriever or a lab or even one of those breeds that are mellow, they're still dogs and they still can react. So again, right here, if you hear the thing, it's not really rough, but also it's not like this. What I'm asking right here is that it's not I love you, it's like you're doing a good job, good boy, right? So this is trust me. And again, this is not rough. This is just like firm enough for him to because what he doesn't like is that he doesn't like to be touched, and the only reason he doesn't like to be touched is because no one care about to take their time to do this when he was young. So if you have a youngster, you should do this. You should do this and get him or get her used to your environment, because that's what's gonna give you leverage when they grow older. Is the trust part that they don't. The part of it is that they want to feel safe, and if they don't trust you, they're not gonna feel safe.
Can you explain how you're holding his head? Is that firm? Is it harsh? Is he like not. What sort of pressure do you have?
All I'm doing is I'm blocking. So I have my hand right here. I'm not even. So I put it this way. So
I see.
Here, I'm just putting my hand right here.
Okay.
So if he moves this way, I'm just blocking.
Okay.
So it's not like here.
So you're not gripping or shoving. You're just there. That's all.
So what I'm doing is this. So this, I'm just putting my hand right here and I'm blocking. So I'm in other words, with my energy right here in my hand, I'm letting him know that I don't want him to move the head too much, right? So it's block. Here it's a block.
Okay.
And I'm not putting. See, this is pressure. This is not. This is just I'm blocking. I'm blocking.
Okay.
So, but you have to keep in mind as well that if his move to the right now, he's starting to trust me, right? Look at this. Now, and I'm here. I'm just blocking. But if he gets serious enough that he wants to react, I'm still gonna keep my hand in there, but I am going to put more pressure with my fingertips. So in other words, what I'm gonna say is trust me on this one. Again, it's about trust. He doesn't trust the situation right now, the environment. So it's my job to teach him that he needs to trust. But it seems like with again, it seems like no one has done this exercise, or if they did it, they didn't do it properly. So he is now a grown man, and now he kind of feels like he doesn't need to do this for you. So the reason as well I'm putting my hand right here is because I'll be able to tell whether he's getting really, really serious. So I can change my position, or I can stop it, give him a break. But before he trusts me 100%, he's gonna put up a fight. And as you see already, he was starting to loosen up a little bit, but now he's putting up a fight. And so I do not want him to put up a fight. I want him to trust me. So this is a lack of trust right here. So he needs to trust me more before I can even do any clipping.
Because all you're saying, right, is I'm going to touch your paws, and you need to relax. I'm just going to touch your paws.
All I want is for him to trust me, and with trust, I will get him to let me handle his body in a better way. So we're not fighting right now. We're fighting each other. See this? See, in his mouth right there. Now, he has figured it out that anytime someone tries to touch his body, that he's gonna let them know with his big mouth and showing teeth that they need to back off, and so he can get his way. There we go. Good boy. Good boy. Right. And then I also have support right here. Again, when I have dogs around, and if they want to support, they want to watch, it has to be this way. It can't be excitement around. The excitement could create. If you see him fighting right now, that excitement from other dogs could make it worse. See, that's the first thing he does. He just opens his mouth and he just start doing this to your hand or arm. He doesn't pay attention on what he's doing. He just thinks that that's the right thing to do. So right here, I'm teaching him that that's not the right thing to do, and he should trust humans. And so as you see right here, I'm with my hand blocking. I'm not allowing him to put his mouth on my. There we go. He's starting to get a little bit more tense, and then so he's letting me know that he's starting to get really a little bit more serious. And if with this exercises, again, there we go. Every time he puts up a fight, every time he gives up for me, what I'm doing is I'm showing him he can trust me, but also respect me. And with those two, he can let me do whatever, not whatever I want, but with exercises like this, I can just teach him that we have another option here. He only knows one option, and that option is to fight it, to let people know that that he doesn't like it. So again, I will not allow Mini to start doing a game out of this because I don't want him to get more excited. See this?
Would you say that he's afraid?
No, he's not.
No.
He's just throwing a tantrum. I don't know if you.
Because I think a lot of people would describe this as fear and then say that they need to sedate their dog to do this activity. Because a lot of people are like, we're fear-free or whatever.
Right. And I think that they're dogs, and that's how they express themselves. They don't speak human, and we don't speak dog. So obviously, the easy way is for some people is that just do what they think is the best thing to do. An easy way. More. It's not about easy. It's more the easiest way. Time and money and effort, it's not in their plate. I think. I don't know. That's just my guess. But this is not being afraid. You see the tail? If once the tail is right here, and if they're really nervous, the tail would be right here. This guy is really confident, and what he's saying is like, no one has touched me this way. Why are you touching me this way? But in other words, he's not snapping at me. So what he's saying is, I'm pushing. You're pushing me right now. You're being really intimate. You're crossing my my safety bubble, and this is where you need to realize that it's not about drugging your dog. It's not about to give the dog a lot of stuff to make it easy. It's about trust. If the dog trusts you, then they're gonna do this, right? And so this dog can trust me, Mancha can trust me, even this girl right here can trust me. But it's not about making it easy. It's about like if you don't want to do the work, or if you're afraid. If you're afraid, so that to me is being tiptoeing around an animal, even with a dog like this. So I don't tiptoe around dogs because if you're afraid that you're gonna get bit, you will get bit.
So let's just remind our viewers about the pressure that you have right now on his head and neck, that it's not actually pressure, it's just a block.
I'm not putting pressure right now. I'm just holding the head.
Right, I can see how easy it was for you to lift your hand up.
Yeah. So pressure is this. Look. That's pressure right here.
Yeah.
But this is just like I'm blocking.
Yeah.
So there we go. So and the reason I'm doing this is because you have a lot of leverage. You have a lot of control if you play around with your dog, and you should, because once you do it with this dog, once you do it with that dog,
Minnie,
this is what you want from them. I use dogs for a purpose. If I have a dog here, I'm gonna see what qualities they have. One, I want trust and respect again. But once I have those, I want to see what qualities they have and if I can use them for a purpose. After all, they're working dogs. So, as you see here, this guy is really helpful of like saying, hey, you're doing a good job. Trust this guy. So, some people, they're like, don't force the dog to do anything, instead of drag the dog. And I'm like, why would you drag the dog? Instead, helping them to realize that they can trust you. Like if you don't have trust, then they're not going to trust you in any direction. So that's just a theory that people have that an easy fix. This is not an easy fix. But if I do this and I teach the dog to trust me, in a long term, that's going to be beneficial for me, because every time I do it, he's going to see it as like, oh, we're going to do it again because it's time for me to relax and trust you. He puts up a little bit of a fight, but again, it's one of those things that if you do it with your dog, especially if you have your dog such as like 2-3 months old, then you should start right away. That's what we did with Mancha. Mancha can care less about how I control her paws, and it's all because she trusts me. Again, you have to do this work. You have to condition the brain. You have to let the dog's brain, right, know that he's going to be safe with us. Now, this is the first step before I haven't even used the clipper. And then the reason is because he's not ready for me to do that. See that? First, I want him to relate to me. It's like, I can trust you and I can let you touch me and trust that you're not going to harm me in any way. Right? So, and as you see, I have support right here. I am very big on helping a dog, but also use them to help other dogs. They love to do this. They love to help. And again, right here, my hand is just to block. If you don't do this, you're gonna see a lot of. He's gonna, that's when he gets tense. When you don't do this, and he puts his mouth in there, it would start getting with a lot of pressure.
And that's scary for most people. So you're avoiding that entire issue by just blocking.
So if I just block and I just let him trust me on this one, but don't trust me 40%, trust me 100%. See, this is starting to trust more and more and more. But you have to realize that 100% may take. Trusting 100% may take, doing this exercise for like 2 or 3 times, or he may end up trusting me right now 100%. I don't know. It depends on every dog. But Sure thing. Again, I'm not tiptoeing around the dog. I never do. And then, so this is one of the serious things. So here, again, he doesn't like it. So here I'm just, this is a safety protocol that I use, safety precaution. This, I'm blocking the head. So I will you do have to be connected with what you're doing, because if you just try to do it and you're not paying attention here, so then you can start putting pressure here. And what a lot of people do is they put pressure and then they forget that they're putting pressure because they're so tense or nervous. So that's the pressure right there if you see me doing with him.
Right.
So that pressure, the dog is not going to trust you. So what I'm doing is just I'm letting him know, hey, I'm here and trust me, right? But I'm not putting pressure unless I need to put pressure. But I don't put pressure unless I have to. So, and that, when would I would put pressure is when he would try to fight it. And that pressure is minimum. So here is more like a block again. And I do it again. You do have to spend a lot of time here to let the dog know that everything is going to be okay. So what you have is a fight, flight, avoidance, surrender situation. So first he fights it, right? And then he's in a flight mode right now. He wants to get away from the situation. And your dog is not going to learn anything if you let go at this moment. He needs to stay right here, and even if I decide I'm done with the exercise, he needs to stay right here, and I need to say, you did a good job, and then I'm still having my hand right here, because I want to make sure that he understands that I know what I'm doing, that he can trust me right here. So then if I remove my hand, he is not allowed to go up, because what that means is that he didn't get the point. And the whole point right here is that he can trust me. See this? Shh. No. There you go. He can lick me. He can say, oh, I do this, but he cannot do this. Shh.